Alright, so here we have the Hammond Auto-Vari 64 voicing board extracted from the unit that I got that was defunct a few weeks ago. And we've got it running on a 24 volt DC wall wart now. So we're off the benchtop power supply. We're just plugged in there into the board and supplying the power to the board as well as my circuits here. The circuits are the High Side Transistor Switches, which I found some designs for online. Just Google High Side Transistor Switches. One thing to note if you're going to build a similar unit is that the voice trigger inputs that go to the board need to be shunted to ground. You might want to confirm that on your own unit if you're going to do something like this. But I found that only 8 of the 11 voices available actually will re-trigger multiple times. Only 3 of them would re-trigger multiple times. The other 8 would not re-trigger unless the circuit was grounded. So I guess that resets it drains the capacitor to reset the oscillator circuit to trigger again. I've got some 1/8 inch inputs here hooked up to each of the voices, of which 8 are running through the Arturia BeatStep Pro right over here. And I'll just run you through a couple of patterns that I made for this unit, and you can hear that awesome 4-decade-old analog sound. And there you have that. So that's how it sounds. We can also look at the response time on the triggered voices. Bring it back up here. And you can see it will respond to 1/32 note retriggering at the 120 BPM. Readily. So the circuit seems to be resetting the oscillators quickly enough for that type of speed. And one other thing to note is that the triggers, I think it's a 31 millisecond gate length that it requires. You will hear, which I'm not picking up now, you will hear a click on the release of that gate, on the opening of the gate as you release. So you want to make sure that the trigger length is short enough that it's inaudible over the under the oscillator, and that the sandblock sound is actually variably gateable. It doesn't have its own decay, which you can hear there, which is pretty cool. It gives you a little variety. And then we'll go back to the basic pattern here, and you can see we've also got room for some decay mods. Which, here we have the circuits here, the transistor switches translated to a perf board, which allows some room right down here for those modifications to be added. We're going to look for some decay mods, we're going to look for some pitch mods, and then at some point I'm going to see if there's anything else I can add to it. Maybe separating the outputs, ultimately getting individual out so that they can all be processed. Because with a little processing, this thing can sound pretty cool. It gives you that industrial sound that I look for. So there you have it. The Arturia BeatStep Pro controlling the Hammond Auto-Vari 64 through the transistor switching circuits, which will operate anywhere from 3 volt DC to 14 volt DC as I have tested them. Those are the only voltages I pretty much worked with, because I figured that pretty much covered the gamut of the required switching inputs. So there you go. That's it. Thanks for watching.